Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's time for another Baltimore Comic-Con Live. And look who's joining me for a great conversation about the fantastic show, Lucifer, in the midst of Season 5 now on Netflix. Co-executive producer, co-showrunner, my guy, Joe Henderson. Welcome back, Joe.
Thank you.
Dude, I'm so glad you're back and in the midst of season, finishing up season. I imagine you may be finished that last episode of season 5. That was the dangling one as far as production goes.
We have finished shooting it. I have watched multiple cuts of it. It is glorious. It's so good. It's so good. Oh.
Well, we're here for all the Lucy fans to ask questions about what to expect. Do we have a date for the second half of season 5?
We don't, and a lot of fans have been asking about it, and the honest answer that I can give them is that I don't know. And one of the reasons that I don't know is because there's a lot of factors that are still going into things. We're early in post. We're cutting it together. We still got to go through a number of passes, and there's just so many parts of the process that still need to happen to make it shiny and beautiful and wonderful and the perfect final episode of our 5th season to deliver to the fans. So I ask everyone, I know it's not easy to be patient. I know you don't want to be patient. I don't want to be patient. I want it out there like now. I wish that you guys could just watch the cut that I just watched, except I don't, because it's going to be much cooler when we're done with it, and I promise you it will be what you want. Thank you, Patrick. I am too.
Yeah, man. And I don't blame everyone for the excitement. And also, this is the thing, Joe. It's this binging thing that Netflix does, which is, I think, great. But then also, like addicts, we're like left with, hey, man, I need a fix. Come on.
Yeah.
I know I just
and I'm with you.
We need more. And especially where things left with the entrance of Dennis Haysbert. Now we can spoil.
Yes, you can finally listen, we are Ildi and I in particular, and the entire writing staff and everyone working on the show, we're the biggest fans of the show. We love it. Yeah. Like, we love making it. We love sharing it. And it was so hard for us to have created 16 episodes that no one had seen yet. We wanted to talk to you guys about it. We wanted you to experience it. And so now that at least half of them are out, now we're annoyed you haven't watched the second half because we want to talk about those. So but there's so much good to come. You guys have seen a clip of the musical episode that'll be coming up, which is just a taste of the crazy things we're doing. Like, one of the things we did when we were working on season 5 is we were like, what are the bucket list things? Because there's no way we'll get a season 6. There is no way there will be a season 6. So we have to do everything because there's no way there'll be a season 6. Never. There was no way. What do you do? Having said that, turns out there were a lot of things that we could still do.
And I am psyched for the musical episode because we've already gotten a taste of May singing, so it's only going to be better watching more. So that's.
And that was such a fun part of it too, is what we love to do is show off what our actors can do. So much of what we work backwards from is a couple things. What are the dynamics we're leaving on the table? What are the things that we want to see as Deckerstar fans, as fans of the show, as fans of the dynamics? How do we hurt ourselves? But also, like, what's the thing about, like, for example, Rachel Harris, you don't know. Do you know she's hilarious? You know that she's got some of the best comedic timing out there, but do you know how much she can break your heart? In the exact opposite direction, Leslie Ann Brandt, yeah, she can play a badass, but you know how much she can break your heart in a completely different direction? Yeah. Like, there's all of these opportunities, and that's the fun of our show. Like, Ella in season 5A is fun and light, and then in the finale, she breaks your heart. So basically, we just arc towards how do we have each character break your heart, because ultimately that's our fuel. How do we break our characters, put them back together again, and show just how strong and wonderful they are, and how wonderful our actors are.
So first of all, a good general question from Tara: how is the shooting process like because of COVID? Yeah, man. How much has the set changed?
It's it's weird. It's weird, and I think some set photos have come out. And Amy, I believe, did some behind the scenes videoing, which I think was really helpful, because I think it's really helpful for everyone to see how safe we're trying to keep the crew, how safe we're trying to keep the cast, how important it is. Like, listen, we love our show. The show is the second most important thing behind the safety of everyone involved in it. And the challenge for us as creatives is how to not sacrifice story for safety. And it's actually been really kind of awesome because it's forced us to dig deeper into simpler scenes, more emotionally resonant scenes, and just like find ways to find truths in a different way. Like, are we going to have less fight scenes this season? Yes. Are we going to have more moments that break your heart? Yes. So like there's going to be a trade-off on things, but I don't think people are going to mind. I think if anything, it seems more fitting for the end season. We are going to wrap up stories. We're going to wrap up characters. We are going to tell final tales of the characters we've loved so much.
Outstanding, man. All right, 1 million people are asking, and obviously some of these might start hitting in a spoiler area, so we don't want to spoil too much.
I'll take them. I can either dodge or answer as much as I can.
All right, CJ is among the ones wondering if Trisha Helfer will mom. We've seen father, and we've certainly seen mother in the past. Come on, man. There's got to be a Ralph and Alex honeymooners moment between these guys, no?
Listen, as of yet, no, we're not done yet. But honestly, we felt like it was important that we wrapped up that story and that season 5 was about Dad. Okay. Having said that, we got Trisha, and we wanted to bring Trisha back, especially because 5 was our last season. And so we got her back for the flashback episode. And
yes.
We had an opportunity to show also Trisha Helfer's range and how she can do so many different things. So that was our way of sort of saying goodbye to her in a different way. Listen, never say never. We're not finished with the season, with the series, but as of now, no. But great question.
Okay. Are the actors still filming general, like office crime scenes, office scenes together? Ooh, that's
these are great questions. Yes. So we're still filming. Here's the funny thing. We went back and watched a whole bunch of episodes, and our characters actually usually stand about 6 feet apart from each other when they talk. Okay. So because you block it out so that you can see them, and you can. So honestly, because we just shot a bunch of the finale. We shot about, say, a third of the finale before COVID and the rest after. And I was texting with Tom Ellis, and he's like, how different does it look? And I'm like, the weird thing is it doesn't.
That's great.
Like, you're hard pressed to figure out what was shot before COVID and what was after. And I think that's a testament to the way we're shooting and being clever. And, listen, there are ways to make it work, and there are ways to have people interact safely and quickly, but also not sacrifice their safety, which again is the most important part. But listen, if you go through 516 and you don't know what was shot when, I would challenge everyone when that episode finally airs to tell me what they were shot when, which hopefully should get everyone comfort.
So, man, I'll tell you. Okay, Sandra, great question. Poor Ella, you put her through the ringer, but man, that episode when she finds out her boyfriend is serial killer material. Man, it was creepy and it was fantastic, and the mood and the tone. But yeah, poor Ellie. Will she ever find a good boyfriend?
That is a very good question. First of all, I just want to say, and the actor's name escapes me right now, but the guy who we got to play Pete was just awesome, and he was such a nice addition and such a nice person. And Megan's question will actually deal with this as well, so I'll fold both of them into this because Megan is asking how will Ella deal with the fallout of 5A and 5B. So Ella basically, she finally opened her heart up to a nice guy, and it got shut down. So that's a big part of 5B. And big part of it is, do I deserve a good guy? Can I find a good guy? Am I broken? And obviously a lot of that was 5A, but now she's just gotten slammed down even harder. So it's sort of like that moment where you're like, hey, maybe I can. And you've just gotten a big, big glaring warning sign, which says you can't.
Okay. And by the way, Alexander Koch is your guy.
Thank you.
Pete. Oh, I'm dude, so and that's why if it looks like I'm not looking at you, it's because I'm looking at IMDb.
Good,
making sure we got the info. Absolutely, man.
So good, and he was a lovely guy.
Of course, exactly. Here's something interesting from Yoshi Trap. Are you planning to introduce like one minor character, then kill or wrap them up next season? That's fantastic. Like Pete.
That's awesome. Oh man, that's a wonderfully specific question. From someone with one of the better icons I've seen in a while. I don't think so. I actually really got to think about that one. Here's what I'll say is the big focus of season 6 is on our core cast. Sure. And we will have new characters coming in, but the biggest focus and the thing that's most important to us is telling the stories of what's happening to these people, but that doesn't mean that these stories won't be without loss.
Sherry wants to know, will Lindsey Gort make another appearance?
Lindsey Gort, right?
Me.
Am I getting it wrong? Now I'm afraid that I'm getting it wrong. But she,
sure, I'm not getting it wrong.
She, not as of yet. And honestly, the challenge is, one, she's on All Rise, and she's amazing on All Rise. Two, one of the nicest people I've ever worked with. And three, it just became a question of, did we have the right story for her? And at the beginning of every season, ever since we had her back last time, she's one of the characters that comes up, which is, how do we make sure that we do right by her? If we're going to get her, it's got to be a worthy story. Honestly, we kept trying to find a story worthy of her, and we didn't. But dear Lord, is she both an awesome actress and an awesome person.
So now here's a great eagle-eye question from Patrick Starr. In the scene in episode 6 of season 5, where Chloe is confronting Ron, it shows the blue background and the outline of like a throne. It seems to be parallel to Lucifer fourth season, episode 1. Is this foreshadowing something? Ooh.
I mean, it's a great
eagle eye.
If I remember correctly, it is more of just a sort of subliminal iconography, which is the director realizing at a really cool image that could speak to something we've seen before and basically speak to the journey these characters are going on. It is not an intentional foreshadowing per se, but I love your eye, because that's one of the things I love about when our directors come in is they dig into the iconography of the series and find ways to speak to them, especially in emotionally resonant moments that speak to the characters' journeys, because a lot of times they know either not only where the characters have been, but often where they're going.
People are asking if Deckerstar are going to break up.
Yep. And they'll never get back together. I'm really sorry to spoil that on this call, but it's time to just put it out there. It's actually gonna be all right. I'll just tell you, the first scene of 5B is Lucifer and Chloe saying we're never gonna talk again, and then the rest of the show is actually Lucifer on one story and Chloe on another, and they don't actually spend any time together. It's I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it'll work.
Interesting. Oh wow, man.
We are the biggest Deckerstar shippers next to you guys. And so we love them, but we also know that the fun of it is, just because a couple is together doesn't mean there won't be bumps, that there won't be roadblocks. But at the same time, we respect the amount of emotional investment that our fans have put into the characters, because we've put them in there. So much of the story going forward is the story of love, but the story of love is often, sorry, Tracy. So often it is a story of challenges. And I think what I love about it is challenges make a romance feel all the more earned. And that's the thing. This is a romance of the time. This is a romance, a timeless romance to me. It is, like Tom always says, it's Beauty and the Beast. It's our riff on it. It's our take on it. And every single challenge that gets in the way of it earns the ultimate coming together of these two characters all the more.
When I thought I was finally going to have Lucifer's I Love You for Chloe, you guys stopped time. You guys always play with my heart. Thanks. That's
well,
cute.
I tell you what, thank you, because, by the way, I like my Golden Girls.
Hilarious. Fantastic. Go on.
All right. So, again, that's us writing to us, because we're you. We want to see that. So how do we hurt ourselves as much as possible? And how do we create moments that are so close but so far away? And so that was it. It's like, what if we're so close, but then the worst possible thing happens? And so much of it is picking that up at the beginning of 5B, which is, I mean, let's just keep in mind, like, time has frozen for Chloe, but it hasn't for Lucifer. So I would imagine that might create complications for, if time ever returns, what happens then?
And people are asking too, what you're going to do with Michael and Lucy. Because certainly you've introduced Michael. He was kind of a problem, certainly at the beginning of the season. Yeah. We're obviously, now, especially with Dennis Haysbert as God coming on the scene, I'm sure the boys are going to get a talking to from Dad. So
that would make sense. The brotherly squabble we had. So much of season 5A was Michael as the antagonist. And one of the things that was really important to all of us in the writer's room, and Tom, season 5B, was every season the antagonist needs to be the hero of their own story.
Yes.
And we hinted at it a bit, but we didn't really dig into it. And that's one of the things we dig into in the back half, which is when Michael is actually the only character in the show and Lucifer leaves for the rest of the season, which is, I know, experimental, but you guys will love it. It's really cool.
He's fucking with us again.
But having said that, so much of it is digging into that in the sense that like there's a two-way street in the resentment between the two of them, and that his antipathy towards Lucifer, if not necessarily is earned, is sympathetic.
Okay. Man, another great question. Jen, I love this question. I love how the show handles abusive parents, post-traumatic stress disorder with such compassion and honesty. Has that involved psychology consultants?
Oh, man, thank you. That is one of the nicest things you could possibly say. It hasn't. Honestly, it just, we're a lot of writers who have had various issues and or are very sensitive to those kind of things. And that actually really means a lot to me. Yeah, it's one of those things that it's one of the important touchstones of Lucifer. It's a thematic of Lucifer's story, but whenever you deal with parents, you're dealing with the extremes and the degrees. And one of the things we really wanted to explore, and we'll continue to explore, there's actually my episode season 6, which we start shooting next week, digs into this a lot. And hopefully of a similar way. I really hope you feel the same way, because it's actually, I think, the episode that digs into that kind of stuff potentially the most, next to 5B, the first season back. So it's something that's important to us, and so thank you. So, and now, man, again, I love these questions because people are really digging, really good. And they're so deep in the DNA of this show. Yeah. So Sherry asks, so looking forward to family dinner. How many boxes of Kleenex will I need? I would like to return the question. Hey guys, who do you think's at the family dinner? That's what I want to know. But the answer is a lot. All right, fair enough. I cried at the table read. Wow, Jesus, that's amazing. Oh, that's far. Tracy has a guest on family dinner. Oh wait, there it is. So yeah, see, okay. Oh, interesting guess. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to tell you who's right. I just want to know the guesses. Interesting guess. There you go, man. Everyone's thinking, man. These are good questions. These are good questions. And by the way, some of you might know, and it looks like a lot of you do, I told you how many people are going to be at the dinner months ago, and I'm pretty sure everyone on this chat seems to know that number. So kudos to you guys. Again, I really appreciate you all coming out and being here for these questions for Joe. There was a question about titles for season 6, because I started going through the comments. Oh, sure. Thank you, Joe. Yes. And you know, we're not releasing them yet. We're sort of a couple minds of it. And the honest hesitation is that since season 5B isn't out yet, we don't want to step on that and have anything sort of pop up that might get in the way of that. So right now we're holding them. We might change our minds on it. We're not sure, but we always love revealing the title and showing it to you guys and sharing it to you guys. But like, the truth of it is, we also want to keep some suspense and really let 5B live as its own thing. And if it was coming out, you know, like in a month, that would be okay, but it's not coming out in a month. It's not coming out in 2 months. I don't know when it's coming out next year. But I just want to make sure that everyone is able to properly enjoy 5B before digging too much into 6, because 5B it's awesome. So. Now, again, is 5B, is that where the musical number is or musical episode? Okay. Well, then with that in mind, Friv, may you at least be able to give us the name of one song from the musical episode we want to sing together. And before you answer, Joe, it is interesting. Is it easier to create, and less expensive, honestly, to create original music like they did in the Buffy musical episode versus what we got on the Supergirl Flash crossover with established songs, kind of in that Glee mode? It is cheaper, but also singing covers of songs is also cheaper than just playing the songs. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to option, I think, the lyric rights and the music rights, but you don't have to get the rights for the vocalist. The performance, sure. Exactly, the performance rights. So you get a little bit of wiggle room on that. It still can be very expensive. But we've never tried to do a song with original lyrics. Okay. That sounds exhausting and impossible, and I don't know how the Buffy people did it, other than to say the dear Lord, well done. But one song, which is actually, if you guys haven't seen, is actually out there right now, We released it a month ago as part of DC fandom. It's Another One Bites the Dust by Queen.
Hilarious.
So the entire clip is online. You can check it out. It is glorious, and it is only the tip of the iceberg of the songs that you are going to see. Ildi wrote it. Sherwin Shalati, one of our directors who's been with us since season 2, directed it, and just it is glorious. It's just so much fun.
As you've been saying, you're crossing off your bucket list of the things you guys want to do before the show wraps up. And truly, man, I appreciate all the imagination and ambition you guys are putting in these episodes. It's very self-evident, and really, I mean, again, 5A was so great, and really the whole season, the full half of the season was great, but that noir episode really scratched my itch, man. I'm such a noir fan. You guys nailed it.
I love every LD.
CJ, can you speak about Charlie just a little bit, please?
Charlie, yeah, that kid, huh? Man, I wonder if he has wings. Huh? Well, oh well.
Absolutely, and truly, man, that whole thing of Rachel, Linda and Amandiel being parents now and dealing with that, and truly DB just being this poor helpless dad and everything was just fantastic.
And by the way, to that point, to answer the question seriously, what we wanted to do is we knew God was coming, and we wanted to put Amenadiel in a situation that either contrasted or paralleled his own dad, because a lot of the back half is Lucifer and Amenadiel dealing with their father being there. They both have very different relationships, but Amenadiel is a father now, and he's dealing with this idea, because like if you look at God and Amenadiel was the favorite son. He was the best, but at the same time, there was a light bringer. Now Amenadiel has a son, but he's human, but he loves him. And so there's a complication between parents and children, and we really wanted to tee up Amenadiel and all of this parenthood stuff as we started to bring his dad in. But then God disappears in the first 2 minutes of 5B and never comes back. So it's too bad. We really should have kept him around. Huh.
Here's a good one, and another great character that you had. People wanted to know if we'll see Eve in 5B.
You know what? Yes, and actually, CJ has confirmed it. We do see Eve again. Oh my God, Inbar is amazing. So that was always part of the plan. We just wanted to have. We want to put Maze either in the best or worst position for Eve to return. So we'll see which one that is. By the way, I also think Amenadiel is the MVP of 5A. I was fortunate enough to write the Amenadiel episode in season 5, and I chose that. I wanted that episode because when you're co-show running a show, you usually write the first episode or something like that. And Ildi and I both were like, let's not do that. Let's write different episodes. Let's write a normal episode. So she took 502 because it was like the hard one, because it was Michael. It's like, oh God, we have to define this character's voice and write an episode that has Tom Ellis in it, but not Lucifer. That's an interesting new challenge. And as we started moving, I'm like, I really want to write an Amenadiel episode because we've never seen him work with Chloe. I love working with DB. And I just want to dig into that character. I really want to play with him because he's such a fascinating character. And I love the idea of the fact that he's basically this biblical angelic nerd. Like, he's God's greatest warrior, but he's also like the one who knows the most. So like him solving a human crime, but in the end actually solving the biggest question of our series, which is the question of how Chloe affects Lucifer. That felt just so clean and simple and wonderful to me that it is a episode that's all about the relationship between Lucifer and Chloe, but it's also all about Amenadiel finding his place in the world and finding his drive and realizing just how many superpowers he has when it comes to his capacity for growth and investigation and everything else.
Good idea, Chris. Will God end up on Linda's couch? Wouldn't that be the best father-in-law, daughter-in-law conversation?
I mean, that seems like a good idea. I mean, that would be. But unfortunately, as I said, God leaves 2 minutes in to the first episode back and never comes back. So
again, he's fucking with us. He's still fucking with us. Everybody.
So it's too bad. It's too bad. But I wish you'd written that to us a year ago. But a great idea.
This is interesting. Oh wait, it's this one actually. Sandra, will Mace get her soul?
I think that is a lovely question, but I just don't know how.
So CJ, go ahead.
No. I saw a pic of Tom and someone else like in a silver robe. Oh, you might have seen some pictures from the interwebs. Don't trust them; they're mostly Photoshop. So who's to say what's real and what's fake? I mean, I could put myself in a silver robe. So I mean, other angels. I don't think there's other angels in the show. So have you seen any? I haven't seen any. So
interesting.
Yeah.
You know, someone asked earlier if we've seen portions of hell. Obviously, will we see heaven?
That is a good question. Sorry, I was reading Exposing Lucifer Fandom, who apparently knows who Zadkiel is. So, well done. But I don't know who that is. I don't know who Zadkiel is. So, that's confusing.
You guys are amazing.
Will we see heaven? So, season 1, Ildy and I very vociferously said, we will never see hell. And then at the end of season 1, we went to hell because we realized that we had the story for it. So the answer to that question is, if we find the story worthy of it, and we're not quite done with the season, and we're not quite there yet, but that is a question that we're constantly asking ourselves, because we have to, if we do that, the series, we have to make sure we earn it. We have to make sure that we have a take on it that feels clean and unique and our show. And if we find that, then we will.
This is hilarious. I love this. Will we see another drunken Chloe again? We need it.
Oh God. I'm trying to remember now. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Partially because I can't remember what is past and what is present. It's all such a. It's funny because I was giving interviews before season 5A dropped, and I'd be like, wait, has this aired yet? What's aired yet? Because we get so far ahead, and also we tell multiple versions of each episode, because we tell a version that doesn't work and we explore different directions. So like these characters go on multiple journeys in our hearts and in our minds. All I'll say is I love Drunken Chloe, and if we haven't done that, we should hopefully find a place to do it. I can't remember if we have, but I love her too.
I loved when Chloe and Maze were together early on in 5A and working together and really kind of trying to cling to each other in a very personal way, even though they knew it wasn't right. Now, Yoshi Trap here, I like how everyone is concerned about heaven and more parts of hell. Not going to lie, I'm curious too, but I want to know if a portion of purgatory will be introduced, like an episode with Lucy in Purgatory.
So right now, and I know this contradicts our Arrowverse mythology, but right now in our mythology, purgatory does not exist. So
interesting.
Which is why in my headcanon, our show takes place after Crisis on Infinite Earths, when the world got reformed, and Lucifer knew Constantine but never sent him to purgatory, because purgatory in our world doesn't actually exist. It is just heaven and hell. And hell is where you torture yourself with your own sins, and heaven is where you go if you don't torture yourself. So thank you, Hope.
That's really nice, Hope. Absolutely, man. A little more of Chloe's spell, and could Michael have fallen in love with her?
A little more of Chloe's spell.
I'm assuming that's just her.
I think one of the things I loved about episode 502 is the idea that like Michael came down with a plan, and then Chloe hijacked that plan unintentionally, because there is a reason Lucifer was drawn to her. There's a reason that a lot of us are drawn to her.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so to me, what was interesting is Michael started to actually understand his brother. But instead of understanding his brother and respecting what his brother was dealing with, he instead went, I want this too, which I think reflects his own selfishness and his own perspective, which is, instead of going, oh my God, maybe this is an opportunity for me to learn about my brother, it became, maybe this is an opportunity to take that happiness, which is, again, it's that selfish versus selfless struggle that so many of us go through, that so many of our characters go through.
And also, again, testament to Lauren's acting. All right, Tara has an interesting question, and again, the Zapruder film. Joe, can you hint or tell us any more about the beloved character death that you will be mentioned in a TV Guide article?
I can. There is a beloved character who dies.
And it's in 5B? It's
in 5B.
Wow. Oh my God. Again, you're gonna tear our hearts out once again. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, listen, our intent is to break hearts, but also tell endings. And just because we were ending that doesn't mean there aren't other endings to tell in the next season, but that there is a ending coming up.
Entre Mundos, she asked, excuse me, Entre, will Ella mean Michael? I thought Ella did mean Michael.
Well, she meant Michael as Lucifer.
Right. Oh, that's true. Okay. Yeah.
But, so they met.
Okay. Fair enough, man. That's hilarious. I understand. Let's see. Oh God, yeah. Once again, everyone's like freaking out about the death and everything that's coming, and they don't want to take it.
We were freaking out about the death, so I'm with you guys. I don't know who did that, but they're just mean.
Was it a tough choice to try? Like, was that a discussion about? I mean, we have so much life and death in this show that maybe it would be impactful to or even choosing who to kill.
Yes, and I see Erica was talking about Chloe's love spell, and I've said, yeah.
Okay.
It always is, and honestly, it's one of those things that we went back and forth on quite a bit and had a lot of different versions on, and we're really a number of characters' fates at the end of season 5 changed. And I'm not saying when we found out we had a season 6, but changed as we started to dig into what their character arcs were. And in particular in 5C, you get a sense of where their journeys are leading them. And you start to realize, well, some people's stories might be shorter than others.
Okay. And Sherry asks, but does death mean the end? Lucifer's died a couple times. Dun, dun, dun.
It's a good question, but if you're heading into a finale, those things end up feeling a little more final. So
I understand. And dude, we haven't talked at all in this conversation about poor Dan. Poor Dan. And the twists and turns and the ringer that you put poor Dan through. And absolutely, man. And also it's awesome that, and forgive me, I'm blanking on Dan's real name, but didn't he direct a couple cool episodes too?
Kevin directed the 5A finale, which was our biggest fight scene we'd ever done. And my God, is he an amazing director. He is so good. He is so smart. That episode is one of, actually episodes 7 and 8 are, I think, 2 of the episodes that I've watched and I've had almost no notes on, where you just get them and you're like, dear Lord, this is just it. They understood it. They got it. And for Kevin, who's only directed a couple episodes, to have that understanding and have done that homework. I mean, Kevin in season 2 or 3, I can't remember, shadowed like 10 directors, just put in his time, studied, figured things out. He'll be directing. I don't know if this has been announced, but he's directing one of the episodes, season 6, because of course he is. But also DB is directing one of the episodes, season 6, and I'm so excited about that because he's going to do an amazing job. He's already shown just such an enthusiasm and excitement, and he knows the craft. It's great to be able to show off again how amazing our cast is in so many different ways.
Every time Joe talks about the show ending, I feel like I need to breathe into a paper bag. I'm going to be so gutted when it's all over. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, we're about to have a whole lot of jaggy, snot from the nose cries in the next couple of months.
Oh, this is really nice, and it's so interesting. Gabby, am I the only one who thinks the show Lucifer just made their life better? That's very sweet. Very nice, Gabby. So, that's excellent, man. Sophie, 2001, Lolo. Please, can you record the final table read for us to see and cry? That's really interesting. And, special features is something that I wonder with the end of hard media, like DVDs and things like that, where do they go? And honestly, it's been such a joy to see that behind the scenes kind of stuff.
I mean, listen, I watched the Game of Thrones one. Like, I think there's an incredible value to that. We've talked about it. I don't know where we've landed. It does become, for what it's worth, a tricky game because you want to respect the intimacy of the actors in these moments, the vulnerability of reading these words for the first time together out loud, while also giving everyone an opportunity for posterity's sake and for fandom's sake to see it. So I genuinely don't know. It's something we've talked about, but we haven't decided because first and foremost, I want to respect the family that we've been doing this with, and make sure that we make sure we respect the moment.
Everyone is wondering, and again, I don't think you can answer this question, but will we? Oh, yeah, will we see a baby Deckerstar?
I do get that question a lot.
I'm sure.
I mean,
come on, Linda and Amendiel's kid needs someone to play with, so come on.
All I'll say is we have a baby right now,
Yeah, I understand, buddy. No, it's all good. A couple nice comments from
Rachel.
Rachel.
I mean, we have Charlie right now. I'm not saying that they have,
right. Absolutely, Charlie needs. That's what I'm saying. Charlie needs someone to play with, and just, I mean, again, Tom was so the right guy for this role, and it really, truly, honestly, he's amazing.
What he does, and it's funny because having read the script as an outsider and then watched it, is he infuses every moment with a charm and innocence and Peter Pan-esque merriment and fascination that makes this character, who could be played sleazy or lecherous, instead feel whimsical and wonderful. And it is such an amazing fine line that he is able to pull off. And it's just, and by the way, everyone should know how much work it is. It seems effortless. It looks effortless. That guy works his butt off on this show. And obviously with him playing two roles in particular, but that is all craft. That is work. Same here. Biden-Harris. Yeah. Biden-Harris. Please vote.
Yes, please. Absolutely. My God, yes. Let's see here. What else have we got? Okay, here. Tara asks, how is post-production on 5 coming along?
It's coming well. It's I tweeted a couple days ago. I watched a cut of 516. All the episodes up to 516 are done. It's just the finale. Don't get too much hope that speeds things up too much, because 516 every episode takes a while, and it helps that the rest of them are all pretty much locked and done. But I also don't know how much Netflix has done with them. They have to localize every episode. They've got to do a lot of work. Maybe they've done that. Maybe they haven't. I don't know. What I know is we are trying to give them as much as possible to speed things up on our end. But having said that, 516 is going to take a while. It is a very expensive episode.
Excellent. That's great to hear, man. But this transition from Fox to Netflix, I mean, does it make it harder or easier to make the show?
I mean, it's funny because it's a little bit of both. Like, it's easier for one because we were treated slightly differently. Like, we were a bubble show on Fox,
right? And
then when Netflix got us, we were a bit of just a lark almost. It was like, hey, the show seems to have a lot of fans, and we love it, so we'll give you a try. And by the way, like, a lot of people have said that we got a lot more money in season 4. It's actually it was the exact same amount of money. That we previously had. We just kept getting better and better at figuring out how to spend it, and technology got better. Like the face technology. Towards the end of season 3, we started to ask them, "Can we have Lucifer say a word with the devil face?" And they said no. And then 2 weeks before shooting, they said, "Yeah, you can say anything you want." And I was like, "Wait, but literally 2 months ago you said," and they're like, "Yeah, that's how fast the technology is changing." They're like, "It's getting better at such a crazy rate." I think that's when we started to see Thanos from the Avengers movies, and technology was just starting to really get there. And so a lot of it is that these technological tricks and the affordability of these things came up. But in particular, after season 4, it was like, oh, okay. And Netflix always had faith in us. They were always very supportive. CJ, will God show his wings anytime? Allow me to ask you a question. Who says God has wings?
No, I was going to just ask. Someone was asking if Lauren is going to sing in the musical. I don't know if you're able to reveal that or not.
I'm not able to reveal who sings in the musical other than the clip that you have seen.
Fair enough, buddy. Well, listen, let's wrap up, because I think, and truly, everybody, I can't thank you enough. But truly, Lucy fans, I can't thank you enough for showing up and asking such wonderful questions. I hope you enjoyed the type of conversation Joe and I have had.